fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the newest Jurassic Park and Transformers crossover collaborative set. This is Dilophocon and Autobot JP12. Now this is the second in the line. I don't know how many more of these they're going to do. I've been enjoying them, but we have got to work on these names. It has not gotten any better since the first set. Dilophicon, maybe passable. Autobot JP12 is just boring. I mean, you couldn't come up with some kind of Jeep name or something, or I don't know. The names need work. But in any case, the box art here, very cool. I like this quite a bit. You know, this is a very iconic scene from the movie where Nedry is trying to escape Jurassic Park, gets caught by the dinosaur, doesn't quite make it. Spoilers, I know, it's been 30 years. Hopefully you've seen the movie. In any case, up here you have the Jurassic Park and Transformers collaborative symbol here. We got the Jurassic Park gate. Looks very cool. Down here, just your normal warnings and whatnot. Over here, got a big close-up of the dino. This is just the kind of picture from the front continuing on to the side for his tail. And then over here on the back, we have some product shots of the robot modes, the alt modes. All looks pretty fun. He comes with the Barbasol can with the DNA samples. That's fantastic. Really, really nice. The head sculpt even looks like Wayne Knight. It's really great. So I love this. Definitely an officially licensed Jeep product, if that matters to you. That's what you're paying for. We'll get into that later. Anyway, packaging, very cool. I like it quite a bit. Let's go ahead. Let's get everyone out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. One thing I did want to shout out real quick, obviously I've already removed everything from the packaging, but they almost kind of recreated the scene with the packaging in the box. The Jeep was up here, the Dino was up here staring it down. I thought that was kind of neat. There was also a little box. This little box was up in here with all the accessories. So I'll probably throw the rest of the packaging away, but I don't know, I might keep this crate. Might come in handy for a display or a diorama or something in the future. Just thought it was kind of cool. Even the inside of the packaging I thought was kind of neat. So as we previously discussed, this is how they come in the box in their alt modes. I think they both look pretty good. Let's take a look. We'll put this guy off to the side for the moment, and we'll take a look at the Jeep. JP12, I guess, is this guy's name. I really hate the names. But the vehicle looks great. I mean, it looks like one of the authentic Jeeps from the movie, especially from this scene. Even has the cover. Got the Jurassic Park logo there on the doors. JP12 here on there. Got a little license plate. I mean, the paint, the detailing, really, really nicely done. Even have it back here on the license plate. Rolls pretty well. Definitely looks good. Now, he comes with some accessories. So, he has this gun, which is actually the, like, tow cable. And you can peg this here into the front. Like so. So one, that's great storage, but two, again, very important for the scene. He tries to tie that around the tree and get down the slope. So you do have that little tow cable area there, which is great. And then, of course, he has the Autobot symbol Barbasol can, and this just pops right off of here. That's where all the little DNA samples are. Really cool accessory. Really happy that they included this. And you can actually pop this on underneath here for storage. Now you can see the robot head. He has the helmet. The helmet comes in the packaging as a separate accessory, but you can put it on his head and leave it on his head during transformation. So if you want to take the helmet off, you can, but you can leave it on his head when you transform him back into Jeep mode. So that's for storage as well. So you can store all the accessories here. Really, really cool. And then just for fun, here is our JP, I think 93 this guy was called. This is from the first set. Just to get a sense of scale with the vehicles. I think they scale very well with each other. Obviously, the Jeep should be slightly smaller. So they really look great together. Honestly, I would love to see this line continue. Get into some of the iconic vehicles from Lost World. Because they had the kind of souped up... You could probably do a repaint of this guy like as one of the souped up vehicles. But then give me like a leader class that's the giant trailer from the second movie. I think that would be super fun. Just keep this line going. Plenty of dinosaurs, plenty of vehicles. Let's go. But yeah, these two look good together. I like it quite a bit. Vehicle mode, I think here looks pretty great. Really nicely done. Very compact. Proportions are good. Paint's great. Rolls well. Very happy with the vehicle mode. Up next, we have Dilophocon. Really nice paint applications, I will say. You have all the patterning here on the back, on the top of the legs. Nothing on the tail, unfortunately. But the two fringes here on the side really, really look good. The head sculpt, I think, is nice, nicely painted. He does come with a, like, you know, Venom accessory that you can peg in here to the lower jaw. So it looks like he is shooting out that Venom. And then he has this little piece here on the back, right here, this little lever that you can kind of use to control the jaw, which is a little weird, but, you know, it's there. So he can shoot out that Venom. And I think it's a pretty cool accessory. It is translucent blue, but then it has that little bit of green, which I think is really neat. So I like that. Very fun little accessory there. In terms of articulation for the dino, I already showed off the jaw. You have a very limited little ball joint here at the tiny arms. These are supposed to kind of, like, you can technically move these around if you want, but you can see that there is a little tab right there that kind of slots on there, so that kind of holds the leg in place. So it's supposed to stay there, but again, if you want to move it around, you can. I mean, that's going to be his hip for the robot mode, so you can utilize that if you want. Kind of a similar thing here where this piece is pegged in here, so you can't really move this. But if for some reason you wanted to get that articulation back, all you'd have to do is kind of unhook this, and then you can move this around. So it's up to you. If you want to keep everything fixed into place, that is officially how it's supposed to transform, but you can just kind of, you know, loosen a couple things and get a good amount of articulation back. But theoretically, you would just have these legs move here at the ankle, but there's also a ball joint here, so you can get a little bit of ankle tilt as well. The tail can kind of move up and down a little bit, but in Dino mode, you know, if you go by the official transformation, he doesn't have a ton of articulation. It's really just kind of like here at the ankle, tiny little bit at the hands. Of course, the jaw is the big draw. The jaw is the draw. That's what, you know, you can simulate the spit Venom attack, and then you can move the tail a little bit. Now, I don't have the T-Rex mold handy, but I feel like we've seen that T-Rex mold 100 times. I mean, we've seen it as Megatron, we've seen it as T-Rex, we saw it in the first set for this, where it had a terrible name like Tyrannoscon or something. That names are so lame. In any case, I can't do a scale comparison, but I would say the T-Rex probably would occupy like this space, something like that. So it's maybe, I wouldn't say half the size of the T-Rex, maybe a third of the size. But I think this guy looks pretty good. Nice paint applications, not a ton of articulation, but I don't really need a ton of articulation. I feel like it has really nice paint applications where you would want them. Could do a little bit more of the patterning maybe on the tail. That's really all I would ask for. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. All right, let's get into transformation for JP12. If you have this stored underneath, you're going to want to go ahead and just pop that out, put that off to the side. You're going to lift this whole section up, and this back section will come with it. So this lifts up. You can see that there were two tabs there that pegged into what will be the feet. So then you have to kind of rock this whole thing up, and it can be a little tough. But the more you do it, I feel like it's tending to loosen up a little bit. But it's kind of difficult. Make sure you clear the feet. There we go. Rock up. Come on. There we go. Then you want to push this part underneath, and there is a little tab there. You can probably see it right there. That's going to tab in like that. So now you just have this part. You can actually fold this down as well. This little red piece will fold down like that. Then you're going to open the doors like so. Then we will do the feet. So the feet will split apart. You can see that there's a hinge right here. You might have to pop these kind of out to the side. Lift this up, and then you need to get clearance. So this part's kind of the most difficult. It's not super difficult, but it's really just kind of finding that clearance. So once you lift that up, then this whole piece needs to flip out. Kind of reminds me of like Studio Series Hot Rod in that regard. Then once you have that, this will flip, this will fold in, and then this will come down like that. And then you have your leg. So repeat the process over here. This is going to flip up, flip around, flip closed, and then bring the foot all the way around like that. And then you have your two legs, and you can utilize some ankle tilt, and then you're just going to flip this crotch plate down. So that is, let me move this up. Now you have the legs done. Come down here to the hands, and they will kind of unclip. You can kind of see that there was a little tab here on the forearm that was kind of in that notch. It's not perfect, but it will fit in there, but it doesn't like hardcore clip in there. It's just kind of like a guide. At this point, you want to raise the wheel pieces up ever so slightly. They swing like that. And then they will also pop in at a 45-degree angle like that. So this will pop in like that. Then you're going to drop this whole section down, and you kind of have a little bit of clearance with this back piece here, and make sure you get the hands out of the way so you can kind of pop these out to the side. It's kind of a weird dance because you need to get these out of the way, but you can't swing them out fully because this is still in the way, and this whole piece has to rotate down. So as you're kind of doing it, you can kind of move the arms more out of the way as this comes down, and then there is a tab, and it's going to be impossible to see, but this black tab right there underneath the pin will fit into that section right there. So this just comes down, pops into place. At this point, now that you have that down, you can lift these side sections up to give them kind of like faux little shoulder pads. And then you can pop this up. You'll kind of rotate the shoulder down on this hinge. And then there's a tab right here, which will tab in right there. So this goes up, pops into place there. And then you can kind of just do that. And then this comes up, pops in, just kind of straighten out the hands. And then you're pretty much done at this point. Make sure that's down. This just kind of lifts up. You can kind of see how there's like a tab right there, and that will kind of, as you lift this up, it'll kind of just pop into that whole section there. And then you can push this back like that. And there you go. There is your robot mode. Now these don't tab in super tight, but as you move the shoulders, they'll probably come untabbed, but you can just tab them back in. But there we go. There is our robot mode. So here is our robot mode. I like it a lot. I mean, it does have a little bit of a backpack, but I really don't mind it. It doesn't really hinder articulation all that much. And I just think this looks like the Nedry character. Now, I love having the tires here in the front. I don't know if this was intentional, but as we know, Nedry was kind of a more rotund character, and having these tires in the front kind of gives him that like belly bulk, which I think adds to that, and I just think that's really, really fun. The head sculpt is fantastic. I'm going to temporarily take the helmet off just so we can see it a little better. I think this looks like Wayne Knight, which is the actor from the movie. I think they did a great job there. The paint for the glasses or the goggles, whatever you want to say, it looks like a pair of glasses. I think that's great. Nice blue paint, silver paint for the face, really looks sharp. I like that quite a bit. Head articulation, not really. You can tilt it ever so slightly back, ever so slightly forward, mostly just looking side to side. There are these two little notches here in the back of the head, and that is for these little spots here on the helmet, so that you can pop that on. Now you have a little bit of option. You can kind of push it all the way down if you want, but that really kind of, hides the head in shadow. I like to tilt it back ever so slightly, just so that you can really see the head still, because it's such a great head sculpt. Coming to the shoulders, as I was showing you when I was transforming him, these don't peg in the best. So you can kind of utilize, this hinge in the shoulder if you want to, but it's going to almost completely guarantee that these come unpegged. But you do have that hinge, you have a ball joint here in the shoulder, you have a bicep swivel, you have a 90-degree bend there in the elbow, the wrists can swivel as well. So that's all pretty nicely articulated for the hands. Don't have anything in the hips, in the waist, I should say, in terms of a swivel there. This little piece can kind of move up and down, but you get nice range in the hips. Kick forward, kick back until you hit into the backpack, kick really nicely out to the side, You have a thigh swivel there, of course. You have, you know, like 180 in the knees, technically, because of the transformation. Unfortunately, my knees are a little loose, and if I'm not too careful, he will kind of just pop back on those knees because he's got so much bulk back here, and it's kind of a bummer. I mean, if you position him correctly, he's not going to just fall over. Like, he will stand, and it's not that big a deal. But if you kind of start, if you tilt it and you start like getting the momentum in that direction, he will kind of fall backwards. So they're loose, they're not terrible, and you can't really tighten them because it's a pin, there's no screw. But, you know, just something to be a little wary of. But then down here you have a lot of articulation. You have this pin, which gives you that swivel. So you have this swivel here, then you have another swivel right here. Let me get a little closer so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Got this swivel here, and then this mushroom peg is how they handle the ankle tilt. So, nice bit of articulation there in the ankles. So just overall, I think he's a lot of fun. I think the transformation's great. Like I said, bit of a backpack, but doesn't hinder articulation too much. And of course, we have this wince piece here that we can take off and give to him as a gun. And then, of course, we have the Barbasol can. And then you can just pop this right off. This doesn't connect the best. I mean, it's this little super tiny tab right there that's kind of pegging into the very top of this underneath. So, I mean, it's not going to, like, fall off, but it comes off very easily. So, just be a little careful with that as well. But yeah, he's fun. I like him quite a bit. And just for fun, here he is with JP93. Now, to me, JP93 is much more of like a Voyager class. This guy definitely feels like more of a deluxe class. I mean, he's got a lot of paint, and he looks great, but he definitely feels like more of a deluxe, while this could kind of pass as a Voyager. This one had a very simple transformation, but it had the size, and I feel like he could kind of pass as a Voyager. I really don't think you could pass this one off as a Voyager. I'm sorry. He's a bulky deluxe. I guess kind of in the way that they did like Studio Series Ironhide was kind of a bulky deluxe that they passed off as a Voyager so that the transformation could be a little bit more intricate. It could have a little bit more paint. That's kind of what I feel like they're doing with this one. Definitely more of a deluxe size, but they're kind of counting him as a Voyager due to accessories and paint and things like that. So, it is what it is. But I think these two look really great together. This one is kind of a nondescript, character. But this one, I feel like they're definitely invoking Nedry. So, I think that's a lot of fun. Alright, moving on to Dilophicon. I took the spitting poison effect out of his mouth there. I'll be honest, I like to just take these off. I think it makes it simpler. They just peg in very simply. Otherwise, they kind of get in the way and they fall off during transformation anyway, so I'll just go ahead and take it off. I'm also going to take the tail off now. You don't have to, but I'm going to just take that off because that's going to be his weapon a little bit later on. So we're going to just lift this away. I mentioned before that there was a little tab to kind of keep that in place. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to unhook this. As I also showed earlier, this is going to come down. Then we can bend this like this. This is going to come around, and then there is a little tab right here, which is going to fit into this little spot here right below what will be the knee. And then that just kind of straightens out like that and gives you your robot legs. So unhook this, bring this down, straighten out, accordion down in, peg that in, and there you go. You basically have your robot legs. So we're just going to push this up to about there. We will unhook the arms. And all they are is there's these tabs here on the forearms that tab into these little spots here. And then we can kind of just pop these out to the side like so. We're going to unhook the head down like so. Leave it about there. This section is going to pop back like this, which will allow you to pop out the head like so. This will come down, this will fold like this, and then this will accordion down in on itself like so, and then push this straight down. I think that can go a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. And then this will just push back in like that. And that's it. It's a pretty simple transformation, honestly. I think you can push this a little bit up more now. This will go up. There we go. Yep. And that's pretty much it. At this point, you can take these and then just peg them back in like this. There we go. And stand him up. And then take his tail, and this just, I can never remember which way this flips, like this. Flip that around. There you go. Pop it into his hand. And there is Dilophicon. Like I said, it's a very basic transformation. I think it's fine, though. I like it. I think he looks cool. I really like the look of this robot mode here. I love having these on the back like that. It compresses pretty close to the back, which I appreciate. If you leave the tail connected, you can see that there's a little tab right here, and there's a little spot right there on the back of the tail that it can kind of tab into. It doesn't quite reach or line up perfectly, but you don't even really need to. I mean, just pushing it up there, it'll stay where it should go. You don't have to tab it in, but head sculpt I think is pretty cool. I like that a lot. I think that looks pretty great. Head can swivel from side to side. I don't really think, I guess it is technically on a ball joint because you can kind of move it up and down, but it's so limited. You're really just getting a swivel side to side. Technically, you can move these around. I mean, technically, I guess if you want, you could have him use these as maybe like cutting weapons because they fit in the hand. I think it would be cool if you could have attached them like to the forearms or something like that, but you can technically put them in his hand if you want him to use it as maybe like a shield or a melee weapon or something. Otherwise, they just peg back on here. And I just really like the look of that. I think that looks really cool on the back like that. Got this ball joint here in the shoulder. Got a ball joint here in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist. Nothing in the waist because of how he transforms. But then you got a ball joint here in the hip. Kick pretty high up. Really far back too. Kick out to the side pretty well. Got a thigh swivel in there. You can see the mushroom peg. I'm not getting it to move all that much. There we go. There is, you can see there is a mushroom peg right there in the leg. Normal knee, 90-degree knee there, maybe slightly more than 90 degrees. And then you have a hinge here at the ankle. But this is also a ball joint. You can kind of see there's a cutout there, so you can get some ankle tilt. But it's very minor. Not a lot of ankle tilt, honestly. Enough gets the job done. He'll stand and pose well. So yeah, it's basic. It's a very basic transformation. I feel like the articulation's basic. I mean, is there? No, I think because of, it almost looks like there's a cut there, but I don't. Does that move? No, I don't think so. I was trying to figure out if there's a bicep joint or not. It almost looks like there is, but I don't see it. And I don't know how it would be connected if there was. So I don't think there's a bicep. You kind of have this hinge too, like a butterfly joint you can utilize. I mean, technically, it's for the transformation, but technically it's a butterfly joint. But yeah, nothing in the wrist, nothing in the bicep. You know, he's a little basic, but I like him. I like him. But again, I would definitely characterize him as a deluxe. I don't see how you could get away with him being a Voyager. And then we'll just bring this guy back in just so you can kind of see some size comparisons here. And then I just have, let's see, I got, here is G2 Mirage. He's definitely a deluxe, and I would say that they're all about the same size. Obviously, this guy in the back is a little bigger. Oh, don't fall now. But you can see, like, definitely, I don't know how you'd characterize these as Voyagers, size-wise. Definitely deluxes. But again, they might be trying to say, at least with this guy, he's got a heft to him. This guy's got bulk. He feels big, thick, sturdy. Yeah, the knees are a little loose, but he's got that bulk, especially like in the chest. He's got a lot of detail, a lot of paint, nice accessories. I could make a case for him bumping up to the Voyager size class. I don't really think I can make a case for this guy bumping up to the Voyager size class, because he's a very basic transformation, basic articulation. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad, but I mean, you know, he's missing the bicep. He's missing anything at the waist. He's missing anything at the wrist. The head is very limited. He looks good. I like both modes a lot. And the transformation's fun and easy. I just think it's definitely a deluxe. Like, if this was a deluxe, I'd be like, yep, great, no problems. If you're trying to say he's a Voyager, I'm not quite buying that. But maybe they're not. I don't know. The price point for this is weird, and we'll get into that later. But, yeah, overall, I like him. I think he looks great. I think the transformation's fun. I think both modes look good. Missing a few articulation spots, but otherwise, pretty happy with him. So I like this set a lot. I think both of these guys look great. Wonderful paint applications. Both modes look good for each. He could use a little bit more in terms of articulation, but I really don't have a problem. I think it's a fun set, and I'm really happy they're continuing the collaboration with Jurassic Park. I liked the first set. I think this set is, I don't know if it's even better, but at least we're getting 2 new molds for this one. The last one, it was like our 3rd version of that T-Rex mold, so it was fine, and it was a nice repaint, but I just wasn't as excited because it was something I already had twice. This at least is 2 completely new molds, which is really, really cool. My only real issue with it is the price. I feel like they're trying to say they're 2 Voyagers, and if you think about it like that, you know, that's somewhere in the $70 range for 2 Voyagers, but I just really don't see how you could do that. I could see a case made for this guy because of his bulk and his paint applications and his accessories. It reminds me very much of Studio Series 86 Ironhide, where he was kind of a deluxe, but with a little bit more love put into it, and they used that to bump it up to Voyager class. I could kind of see a case made for him. This guy, very basic, looks great and everything, but I would say he's definitely a deluxe. So if I look at it like that, you know, we're at $60, 25 and 35, and then I feel like the rest of it you're just paying for the licensing for Jurassic Park. I feel like that's mostly what that extra $10 to $15 is. Just the licensing fee that's getting passed on to you, which I understand. But the first set went on sale and stayed pretty much on sale a lot of places for a long time. I feel like I even almost saw that for like $40 at one point, which is nuts, because that's, you know, that one had like a leader class in it, so that was a much more expensive set. If you need it right away, $75. It's not ridiculously overpriced. But if you can wait, I say go wait for the sale, because if you could get the set for $50 or less, I think it's a steal. I think that's really fair. You know, then you'd be kind of thinking of these as 2 deluxes, $50, no problem with that. If you're paying the full $75, I don't think you're getting robbed. I just think it's a little overpriced, and you're mostly paying for that licensing fee. So I think it's fun. I really do like the set a lot. I mean, again, the knees are a little loose on him. Not a huge problem. He'll stand, but just be a little careful that eventually the weight on his back and his torso will take it over once you get to a certain angle. He's really fun. I like the mold. I like both, you know, robot mode and dino mode. Just a little bit more simplistic, and maybe use a little bit more paint apps like on the tail for the patterning and whatnot. But it's definitely a fun set. I like it, and I love that they're continuing the collaboration. Keep it going. Like I said, there's plenty of dinos. There's plenty of Jurassic Park vehicles. Keep that going. If you want to pay full price for it, I don't think you'll be super upset. But if you can wait for a sale, I think it'll be a really great deal for a really great set. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.